Beneath these mountains, the Zagros Range of western Iran, lies something the world intelligence agencies have spent decades trying to see. What you are about to see is assembled from declassified intelligence reports, satellite imagery, and accounts from the world's top defense analysts. Iran calls them missile cities. Underground complexes bored directly into living rock, engineered to survive nuclear strikes from above. The entrances are invisible from space, hidden under rock overhangs, camouflaged with desert pigment, designed by engineers who learned from the Cold War. Once inside, the mountain swallows you. Sound, light, and GPS signal, all of it gone. Multiple blast door checkpoints, each one rated to withstand the overpressure of a near-miss nuclear detonation. The exhaust plumes. That's how analysts first confirmed these facilities were operational. The mountain was breathing. In 2021, Iran broke its own silence. State television showed what they called a missile city, an underground military complex unlike anything publicly acknowledged before. What the cameras revealed: Shahab-class ballistic missiles capable of reaching Tel Aviv, Riyadh, and U.S. bases across the Middle East. Fordow, buried inside a mountain near Qom, built in secret, discovered by Western intelligence only after construction was complete. The IAEA estimates Fordow's centrifuge halls can enrich uranium to 60% purity, dangerously close to weapons-grade material. Each centrifuge separates uranium isotopes by spinning gas at supersonic speed. Thousands of them running around the clock, underground. 600 kilometers to the southeast, Natanz, Iran's other crown jewel of underground nuclear infrastructure. Below those ordinary buildings, 8 meters of concrete, then 75 meters of compacted mountain earth. Then the facility itself. The underground halls at Natanz span the size of several football fields, blasted out of bedrock by Iranian engineers working in complete secrecy. At peak operation, Natanz housed over 19,000 centrifuges. This is the industrial scale of a nation determined to change its nuclear status. IAEA inspectors have visited Natanz repeatedly, but Iran controls the access. What lies beyond the inspection corridors remains unknown. Every locked door is a question without an answer. Every restricted corridor a boundary between the declared and the undeclared. American and Israeli intelligence estimate Iran has up to a dozen major underground military sites, many never publicly identified. The red markers are the ones that keep defense analysts awake at night. Sites suspected but never confirmed. Facilities that may not exist, or maybe the most dangerous of all. The roads leading to these sites are often ancient trade routes, chosen deliberately. Nothing that would appear on a modern infrastructure map. Camouflage doctrine from the IRGC Engineering Corps. Paint access roads to match surrounding geology. Even recent satellite passes can miss them. Construction. Iranian engineers use Soviet-era tunnel-boring technology, upgraded with Chinese components. A single machine can advance 20 meters per day through solid granite. To spoil millions of tons of excavated rock was itself a classified operation, spread across hundreds of kilometers to prevent analysts from calculating the size of what was being dug. Isfahan, Iran's industrial center, and home to uranium conversion facilities that feed the underground enrichment plants. Here, uranium or concentrate is converted to uranium hexafluoride gas, the feedstock for the centrifuges spinning 80 meters underground at Natanz. The nuclear fuel cycle is entirely underground, from conversion to enrichment, a closed loop that no inspection can fully trace. Iraq, the heavy water reactor that Israel and the United States warned could produce weapons-grade plutonium, a second path to a nuclear device, separate from uranium enrichment. The 2015 nuclear deal forced Iran to fill the reactor core with concrete, but the facility remains, and concrete can be removed. The strategic logic of these mountains: they form a natural fortress. No air force in the world can destroy what it cannot find, and what's buried 100 meters in granite may survive even a bunker buster bomb. The GBU-57, the most powerful bunker buster in the American arsenal, capable of penetrating 60 meters of rock. Iran's deepest facilities are buried twice that depth. This is a military planner's nightmare. A nuclear program physically engineered to be unkillable by conventional airstrikes alone. Tehran, a city of 15 million people. And surrounding it on three sides, the Alborz Mountains, riddled with military infrastructure that Iranian officials have publicly called a wall no enemy can breach. Movement of missile components happens at night, along routes with no security cameras, no civilian traffic. The logistics chain of a state that has made secrecy its primary weapon. Inside the assembly halls, sourced from IRGC Aerospace Force defector testimony and IAEA reports, missiles are fueled, armed, and stored at launch readiness. The warhead section. Iran maintains it is conventional. Western intelligence assessments increasingly disagree. Parchin, a sprawling military-industrial complex where the IAEA believes Iran conducted nuclear detonator experiments. Iran demolished buildings here before inspectors could access them. The demolition itself became evidence. Intelligence analysts, you don't flatten a warehouse and pave it over unless something inside needed to disappear permanently. An implosion test, the physics needed to detonate a nuclear device. The IAEA documented that Iran may have conducted exactly these experiments here at Parchin. The desert surface tells you nothing. The desert subsurface, illuminated by ground-penetrating radar, tells you everything. Ground-penetrating radar from surveillance aircraft can map subsurface geometry to 60 meters depth. Beyond that, the geology scatters a signal, and the picture goes dark. Imam Ali Base near Kermanshah, a facility Iran revealed voluntarily in 2020, believing that showing a small part prevents discovery of the whole.
Since 2021,
Transporter
Iran has
erector
restricted
launchers,
IAEA
TL,
inspector access
a
to
vehicle
critical
that
sites.
takes a ballistic missile from storage to vertical launch
In
position
February
in
2021,
under 15
Iran
minutes.
disconnected 27
Hundreds of
IAEA
them
monitoring
underground,
cameras at nuclear
ready
sites.
from
The
underground
Persian
storage to
Gulf,
airborne in
where
under 20
American
minutes.
military power
That's
and
the
Iranian
operational
underground
design
deterrents face
philosophy.
each other across 200
Survivability through
kilometers of
concealment.
warm salt water.
Speed through preparation. The Alborz Mountains. Younger, sharper, harder granite than the Zagros. Preferred by the IRGC for the
The
deepest
Strait is
facilities,
33 kilometers
where the
at
rock
its
itself
narrowest
becomes a
point.
shelter.
Iranian underground missile batteries on the northern coast can
The entire Gulf is ringed by Iranian underground military positions, a defensive arc designed to transfer.
A silo-based missile cannot be moved once launched. Its location becomes permanently known. The Iranian
Dispersal doctrine. On command, every TEL leaves its underground shelter and moves to a pre-assigned hidden launch position.
Hidden in plain sight. The camouflage nets use a pigment matched to the local geological color spectrum by Iranian materials scientists.
The human element. Iran has an estimated 10,000 nuclear scientists and engineers, many trained abroad.
His assassination, attributed to Israel by Iranian officials, glamless. It was itself a signet. The underground command structure. IRGC Aerospace Force maintains real-time telemetry to every missile site.
Khuzestan province, Iran's oil heartland. The underground military infrastructure here has one.
Even Iran's strategic oil reserve is underground. A 90-day supply stored in caverns blasted.
Bushehr, Iran's only publicly declared nuclear power reactor, built with Russian assistance.
A strike on Bushehr would release radioactive contamination across the Persian Gulf, affecting every nation on its shores.
Fordow's entrance is at 1,700 meters elevation, inside a mountain near Qum. The site was confirmed by the CIA. At 60% enrichment, Iran is producing material it has no declared civilian use for. At 90%,
Israel's military dilemma. Their F-35s have the range to strike Iran, but not the bomb payload. The 2,000-kilometer round trip. Multiple refueling operations.
Only the B-2 Spirit stealth bomber can carry the GBU-57. And only the United States has B-2s.
Washington, D.C., where every military option is war-gamed, budgeted, and updated. The Iran nuclear file sits in a permanent classified review cycle.
The war games consistently produce the same result.
Iran's underground strategy extends beyond its borders. Hezbollah in Lebanon has its own network of tunnels.
The shift from liquid to solid fuel is the most significant development in Iran's missile program in a decade.
The Semnan Space Launch Center. Iran has launched multiple satellites. The technology, rocket motors, guidance systems.
Turrets. Al Udeid Air Base, Qatar, home to CENTCOM Forward Headquarters and 10,000 U.S. military personnel. It sits...
Missile defense math. Missile defense math. A Patriot battery can intercept roughly 4 to 6 incoming missiles per engagement.
The Shahed 136, built underground in Iran, exported to Russia by the hundreds, now a weapon of war over Ukrainian cities.
Russia-Iran military cooperation. Drones supplied to Russia for Ukraine.
Chinese inertial navigation components have given Iranian ballistic missiles a CE.
China. $400 billion, 25-year comprehensive cooperation deal with Iran, in exchange for deeply discounted...
Defense analysts at institutions like the Rand Corporation and the Carnegie Endowment assess that Iran's underground program is now...
One to 2 weeks. That is the will of Twisted Europe to what is you.
The United Nations Security Council. Divide. Russia and China have blocked every new sanctions resolution since 2015. Vienna talks 2022 and 2023 both collapsed. Iran's negotiating position has strengthened with every additional...
9 states currently possess nuclear weapons. Every one of them began with a program that was called civilian at some stage.
North Korea,
The reference case. Underground nuclear facilities, deployed ballistic missiles, international sanctions.
The IAEA has documented what it calls a structured program, evidence of coordinated work on nuclear explosive...
Deterrence theory. The cold logic that nuclear weapons prevent their own use by making the cost of war existential.
The dual-use problem. Every technology in Iran's nuclear program has a legitimate civilian application. Enriched uranium. The UAE, Saudi Arabia, Turkey, and Egypt have all launched civilian nuclear energy programs in direct... Saudi Arabia has acquired ballistic missiles from China. The kingdom has stated that if Iran acquires nuclear weapons, Saudi Arabia...